Two robbers storm a São Paulo gas station store. Unaware, one customer is an off-duty police officer. Just after 1 a.m., two armed suspects enter the convenience store using replica guns while employees and customers raise their hands. One accomplice enters the bathroom area as another hooded robber controls the scene. As the hooded robber approaches, the officer suddenly draws his concealed firearm and fires during the confrontation. The suspect falls backward as the second robber sprints back through the bathroom, and the officer gives chase. Police later arrest three accomplices nearby and recover replica guns and a stolen getaway car. Authorities confirm the wounded suspect dies while investigators review the shooting. Two motorcycle robbers rolled up on a group, but one target was an off-duty police officer. On a quiet street in São Paulo, several people are standing near parked cars when two motorcycles approach. One rider stops close to the group and appears attempting to pull a gun, causing people to scatter in panic. As the group runs, the off-duty officer quickly draws his weapon and fires toward the armed suspect at close range before the robbery unfolds further. The first robber goes down beside the motorcycle in the street. Seeing the shooting, the second rider immediately makes a U-turn and speeds away, while bystanders rush for cover. A teenager steps off a motorcycle at a highway gas station and approaches the attendant with a weapon. Nighttime on the BR-040 highway in Lusiânia, Brazil. Police officers are refueling when a motorcycle carrying two suspects pulls in. The passenger approaches the gas station worker and announces the robbery while the rider waits nearby. One officer spots the weapon, identifies himself as police, and orders both suspects to surrender. According to reports, the armed teen points the weapon toward the officer instead of dropping it, and the officer responds with gunfire. The suspect falls near the pumps while the motorcycle rider crashes fleeing, then escapes on foot through nearby bushes. Emergency crews rush the wounded suspect to hospital, where he later dies, while police search for the second suspect. A thief storms into an Argentine bakery with a knife, but a worker fights back using a stick. Around 6:30 a.m., a suspect enters the bakery in Mar del Plata and heads for the cash register. Hearing noises inside, a worker comes out from the back and confronts the intruder. The suspect swings a knife as the worker grabs a stick and fights him near the counter. During the struggle, the thief rips the cash register from its base and tries carrying it away, but the worker keeps pushing him back and prevents the suspect from leaving. Unable to escape with the register, the suspect throws the ripped part of the machine toward the worker before fleeing empty-handed. Reports later stated the worker practiced Aikido, a martial art focused on self-defense. A retired police officer arrives home. Then an armed robber blocks the garage gate. Security cameras in Porto Velho, Brazil, show the officer pulling into his garage as an armed suspect stops the gate while waiting for an accomplice. Two women step into the garage and realize a robbery is underway. One escapes inside while the other is forced to the floor as a second suspect arrives on a motorcycle. The robbers rush toward the vehicle and try opening the driver's side door, unaware the officer is armed. Shots are fired inside the garage, sending both suspects fleeing. Authorities later confirmed the officer was reported to be in a stable condition. Garage entrances create vulnerable moments because parked vehicles limit movement. Staying alert during arrivals and securing entry points can reduce exposure during targeted robberies. A teenager tries robbing a 61-year-old man inside a Detroit gas station, unaware the victim is also armed. Early one morning in Detroit, Darius Summers enters a gas station for coffee. Surveillance footage shows a 16-year-old suspect approach him from behind with a handgun while trying to take his firearm. Summers stays calm and says he only wants to leave, but the confrontation continues. Moments later, Summers draws his own handgun and responds with gunfire, forcing the suspect to retreat. The suspect leaves before later being arrested by police. Summers later says he acted to protect himself during the robbery. Victims in armed robberies face split-second decisions under stress. Staying calm, avoiding sudden movements, and looking for safe chances to escape can reduce risk. Two armed robbers target a university student in daylight, but she refuses to surrender the bag carrying her thesis. Security cameras in Johannesburg captured 26-year-old Noxolo Ntusi walking along a street when a sedan pulled beside her. Two men stepped out and confronted her, with one pointing a gas gun. The robbers tried grabbing her bag, but Ntusi refused to let go and kept resisting. Unable to overpower her, the suspects rushed back into their vehicle and sped away, empty-handed. Ntusi later revealed the bag contained the only saved copy of her molecular zoology thesis. One suspect was later arrested carrying a gas gun loaded with tear gas rounds. Security experts generally advise prioritizing personal safety during robberies. Backing up important files and staying alert in isolated areas can reduce risks during street crimes. A pizza shop employee suddenly comes face-to-face with a stabbing suspect running through the area after an attack outside. In Petah Tikva, security cameras inside a small pizzeria capture employee Shlomi Madar by the counter when a suspect enters after allegedly stabbing a man nearby near the central bus station. As the suspect moves through the entrance, Madar grabs a wooden pizza tray and uses it to push the suspect back, interrupting his movement through the shop. The suspect runs from the scene as civilians nearby follow him until police officers arrive and take him into custody. Authorities later said the stabbing victim was hospitalized in stable condition. When violence erupts in public, the safest priority is creating distance, warning others, contacting emergency services, and moving towards secure areas whenever possible. A man arriving home is confronted by armed motorcycle thieves and suddenly pulls his own weapon. Security footage from Mar del Plata shows two motorcycle riders stopping near a man outside his home at night. Prosecutors said one suspect pointed a revolver at him and demanded money and his phone. The man reportedly complied at first and threw his keys away to stop the suspects from entering the house. When the suspect allegedly tried forcing him through the doorway, he drew a concealed handgun and fired. Footage appears to show the suspect retreating toward the motorcycle before going down, while the second rider fled. Prosecutors later ruled the shooting was self-defense. Violent robberies can escalate within seconds. Security experts generally advise prioritizing escape routes and contacting emergency services whenever possible. A man quietly enters a convenience store late at night and suddenly reaches for a security guard's holstered firearm from behind. Surveillance footage from a Houston area convenience store shows the guard standing near the counter while the suspect approaches from the guard's blind side without drawing attention. Video appears to show the suspect trying to pull the guard's weapon from its holster, triggering a struggle that ends up outside the entrance. A store employee then rushes out carrying a wooden stick to assist the guard. After seeing the employee join the confrontation, the attacker breaks away and runs from the scene, while the guard and employee remain outside the store entrance. Security experts generally recommend strong situational awareness, retention holsters, and immediately contacting law enforcement after attempted weapon grabs. A Florida homeowner fights back after armed intruders rush onto his porch before sunrise. Home surveillance video from Sarasota, Florida shows the homeowner and another man sitting outside in the morning when three suspects approach carrying a shotgun, crowbar, and machete. The homeowner grabs nearby objects to defend himself before retreating briefly and returning with a machete of his own. As he uses it to force the intruders back, two suspects flee the property, with one climbing over a fence to escape. Authorities said the remaining suspect was disarmed and held at the scene. Deputies later located additional suspects inside a nearby vehicle and arrested 5 men in connection with the attempted robbery. Multiple charges were filed, including armed robbery and firearm-related offenses. Armed home invasions are highly unpredictable and can change within seconds. Law enforcement agencies advise prioritizing escape, securing safe cover, contacting emergency services immediately, and avoiding direct confrontation whenever possible. A man waits inside a small store for the right moment to rob, but soon finds himself trapped. After another customer leaves, the suspect moves behind the counter, threatens the owner with a knife, and forces her away from the register while an elderly woman stands nearby. As he struggles with the register, the owner escapes with the elderly woman and yells for help outside. The robber tries to follow, but falls carrying the register and bag. People outside realize what's happening and hold the front door shut, trapping him inside. He drags the register into another room, breaks it open, and stuffs cash into his bag. Returning to the entrance, he tries forcing his way out, but the people outside keep the door pinned shut. Unable to escape, he paces between rooms until police arrive and arrest him. Escaping safely, creating distance, and alerting others can help stop a robbery without confrontation. Two masked robbers armed with blunt weapons storm behind the counter, but one attacker loses his disguise during the struggle. The suspects rush through the convenience store, demanding valuables, while one searches shelves for cigarettes and the other corners the lone clerk near the register during the early morning robbery. As the fight breaks out, the worker tears off one robber's balaclava, grabs control of the crowbar arm, escapes from behind the counter, and blocks the entrance with heavy metal benches to trap the suspects inside. The trapped suspects eventually smash through the glass doors using the crowbar and repeated kicks, but the clerk tackles the exposed robber outside and holds him there until police officers finally arrive at the scene. Creating barriers, staying visible to surveillance cameras, and escaping confined areas can sometimes slow offenders, preserve evidence, and increase the chances of police identifying suspects afterward. A car blocks a dark intersection, and a suspect jumps out, thinking the driver is an easy target. Late at night, a silver car slows near a quiet T-junction when another vehicle suddenly stops sideways ahead of it, blocking the road. One suspect quickly steps out and approaches the driver's side. The driver instantly realizes it's a robbery attempt. Before the suspect can reach the door, the driver fires several shots from inside the vehicle, forcing the man to turn and run as the suspect car suddenly speeds away. The driver then exits his vehicle and briefly follows the fleeing suspect on foot, while the second car disappears from the intersection. The attempted carjacking unravels within seconds. If a suspicious vehicle suddenly blocks your path, keep as much distance as possible and avoid stepping outside unless absolutely necessary. Three masked men walk into a bank expecting an easy robbery until a calm employee quietly locks the inner door right in front of them. CCTV footage from a Banorte bank branch in Guadalajara, Mexico, shows three masked suspects entering the front lobby during business hours. The group heads toward the second glass security door, apparently trying to move deeper into the bank. As the suspects approach, a bank employee in a white shirt calmly steps toward the entrance and locks the inner glass door before they can get through. The suspects suddenly realize they are sealed out from the secured area. After a few confused seconds looking at each other through the glass, the trio gives up and quickly leaves the bank empty-handed. Controlled access doors and calm decision-making can disrupt robberies before they escalate. Security experts often stress that delaying access gives people more time to stay safe and alert authorities. Two thieves on a motorcycle try to trap a woman in her car, but the driver refuses to freeze. Security footage from a narrow residential street shows two men on a motorcycle pulling directly in front of a compact white car, attempting to block the driver's path. The suspects move toward the vehicle as the car is briefly boxed in. Instead of freezing, the woman accelerates forward. The passenger quickly jumps away, while the second suspect remains tangled with the motorcycle as the car pushes forward. After several seconds, the driver swerves away and speeds off. The remaining suspect is left on the roadway, struggling to get back up as the attempted robbery falls apart. Security experts often advise drivers facing possible vehicle ambushes to prioritize escape whenever a safe route exists. Staying alert and avoiding hesitation during a developing threat can reduce vulnerability during roadside encounters. A motel clerk thinks he's helping a late-night customer until the man suddenly comes back holding a knife. Security cameras inside the Executive Inn lobby in Orange, Texas, show the clerk on the phone behind the counter when a car pulls into the garage outside. He unlocks the entrance and the man walks inside and starts talking with him. After a short conversation, the man appears to leave, but instead of getting in his car, he suddenly returns, pulls a large knife from his waistband, and points it at the clerk. The clerk quickly backs into a secured office room and locks the door. The suspect goes behind the counter and tries to force the door open but cannot get inside. After several failed attempts, he gives up and leaves the lobby. Locked doors and controlled access points can slow down violent encounters and give employees time to stay protected and contact authorities. A woman walking out of a Whataburger suddenly finds herself targeted by a purse snatcher, but her reaction catches the suspect completely off guard. Late-night surveillance footage from southeast Houston shows the woman leaving the restaurant holding a drink and purse while walking toward a waiting vehicle in the parking lot outside. As she reaches the curb, a female suspect quickly approaches and tries to grab her purse. Instead of letting go, the woman resists and throws her drink at her, disrupting the grab and forcing her to back off. The woman quickly runs to a waiting vehicle and leaves safely while the suspect flees empty-handed. Police later released the surveillance footage, hoping someone would recognize her. Purse snatchings often rely on speed and surprise. Creating distance, drawing attention, and getting to safety quickly can help interrupt the situation and improve your chance of escaping safely afterward. 2 motorcycle robbery suspects pull up beside a stopped driver in Mexico City, but the encounter changes in the middle of the traffic. Traffic footage shows 2 men on a motorcycle stopping beside a red vehicle at a traffic light. The passenger steps off and approaches the driver's window, while the second suspect waits on the bike. According to reports, the passenger attempts to rob the driver. Within seconds, the driver inside the stopped car fires several shots during the confrontation. The passenger runs from the scene while the motorcycle rider is struck and only travels a few meters before collapsing beside a truck parked ahead in traffic. Authorities later report 1 suspect died from injuries sustained during the incident, while another was hospitalized after being apprehended. Security experts warn that stopped traffic can create vulnerable moments for drivers. Staying alert, leaving maneuvering space, and avoiding distractions may help reduce risk during roadway robberies. Don't forget to share what you learned today in the comments. Your insight could save a life. Take care.